and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. And today, guys, we're taking a cheeky look at the crypto space. All of it, actually, in fact, Chris, because we're talking about the real reason why the market crashed. So, Chris, this is an interesting topic. We've seen it come up a few times on the comments of our videos. We've seen it even during the premiere. What's caused this drop in value for almost all of the cryptocurrencies, right? And there are a few exceptions, but the majority of them have had significant retracements. So we're going to get into exactly what's going on here and hopefully put some fears to rest. So if you do find this video useful, informative, maybe even entertaining, smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it. I really appreciate it. And I like to think that you appreciate it too. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, go ahead and smash up that subscribe button. And by doing so, you'll be kept up to date with all the various videos, live streams, and premieres that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. Right, with all that said and done and out of the way, Chris, let's jump over to the desktop and just start talking a little bit about what's gone on here. As of yesterday, we had such an amazing correction, right?
Yeah, you're right, Nick. Lots of questions, lots of people reaching out through Twitter DMs and Facebook and all that sort of stuff. Lots of fear. So it's important that we sort of shed a little bit of light on it, really, Nick, and get rid of some of that fear out of our community.
Absolutely. So ultimately, guys, there's some things that are quite obvious and glaring. There was a $5.64 billion liquidation event in the past 24 hours. And this basically is Bitcoin extending its losses. And it's basically talking about whether or not they're going to have a bit of a relief anytime soon. But a staggering, and I mean a staggering, Chris, $5.6 billion worth of future positions were actually liquidated in the last 24 hours. And obviously this saw Bitcoin's price drop by 17%, so quite a significant amount. But the price of Bitcoin plummeted by more than 17% in the last 24 hours as those future positions were liquidated, right? And it was across the board. It wasn't just one or two areas. It was actually many. And those liquidations, they occurred when leveraged future positions fall to a certain threshold. So ultimately everything's kind of pre-planned. And basically they just got liquidated. So for example, a position using something like a 10x leverage would get liquidated or turn worthless if the price of Bitcoin drops by 5%, say. So this is one, we don't use leverage. We find it highly risky. But unfortunately, a lot of traders, they use leverage. And in doing so, there are stop losses and profit-taking positions. And basically, they get liquidated incredibly fast. And if a whole group of individuals plan theirs, their liquidation zones roughly around the same zone, it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So in the last 24 hours, we've seen a very steep correction. I wouldn't call it, Chris, anything too alarming. It looks worse than it is because Bitcoin and some of these other altcoins, they are high value, but they have obviously fallen quite a bit. But within the usual tolerance that we talk about on this channel with a 30% swing, right?
Yeah, we've talked about this. We talked about this a lot, haven't we? On live streams about what to expect in a bull run, right? The 30 to 50%, it happens, right? And we also talked about other channels and leverage trades and stuff like that, because there's lots of people complaining about, because we've had similar stuff with Ethereum as well as Bitcoin, right? With what do you call them? The not the pools,
the miners.
The miners, that's it. With the miners sort of selling at the top, right? And then that has an impact on Ethereum. But there is another event as well, Nick, not just the Bitcoin liquidation that we're talking about, but there was a Nexo ETH liquidation event yesterday as well. So these two things combined, it's having a massive impact on the whole market. Alongside that, you've got people taking profit as well, Nick. You've got the likes of blockchain backer. I'm sure he won't mind me mentioning his name, but he was quite clear about his first exit point for Bitcoin So that's happened, and don't forget he's got a large following as well, right? So there's probably others that I'm not mentioning in the space that are also looking to liquidate at those sorts of prices as well. So yeah, lots going on, but the alts, they do follow Bitcoin, right, to a point. So it's inevitable what's going to happen with the market, but I don't think it's anything to worry about.
No, absolutely. So, I mean, if you just start thinking about Bitcoin futures market, it is highly over leveraged, right? And it is very overcrowded as well. So, minor price movements can trigger mass liquidations, and this is something that a lot of analysts talk about, and a lot of analysts actually were calling this way ahead of time. As you're mentioning, 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗂𝗧𝗧, he was one of many. But according to the analysts over at Sentiment, this is the analytics firm. They were, basically responsible, or address was responsible for the second largest Bitcoin transaction of the year, and I believe even the 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗂𝗧 actually reported on it. So ultimately, I think this is about 2,700 Bitcoin. Basically, was transferred before the drop. Which were basically bigger than 2,000 Bitcoin inflows seen before March 2020 crash, right? So lots of Bitcoin has now, and that was back when I think Bitcoin dropped all the way to $4,000, Chris, which we saw you even getting into the Bitcoin space at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've seen some absolutely staggering numbers, really happening here with those future positions getting liquidated, and it is very possible that a major sell-off in the spot market triggered the future markets to see intense selling pressure as well, right? So if you had a few retail investors who were relatively large players who had taken profits, let's say 𝗕𝗘𝗪𝗂𝗧𝗧, for example, and try to trigger in off, actually pulling the price down to a point where those future positions are also liquidated, or for we might call long positions getting liquidated as well. So Bitcoin, I think has seen some fantastic rallies, and this is a relatively healthy correction. We can see it on the chart just behind us, Chris, that actually it's gone down to the 382 Fibonacci retracement area, and it's bounced right off of that line. So it's looking okay from the chart point of view. And so basically, even when Bitcoin, initially began to correct on the 22nd of February, the futures funding rate of the dominant cryptocurrency was hovering at around 0.15%, even as it continued to drop. And this trend showed two things ultimately. There was over-leveraged buyers who were basically, aggressively buying each dip, and the market remained, basically overheated, even during that pullback and when the pullback happened. But basically, as a result, new buyers during a short-term downtrend were, consistently liquidated, igniting a brutal cycle of a cascading liquidation process. And so lots of unfortunate, maybe like small or fresh buyers into Bitcoin were really hurt during this time, whereas a lot of the traders potentially just taking profits. So, quite, I guess, worrying to think about it in that kind of regard. But the chart, as you can see behind me, is looking okay at this point, and we see me bouncing nicely as well. So yeah, I think as you're saying, Chris, there's ultimately it's kind of been like a self-fulfilling prophecy. We've had those couple of major events happen. We've seen such a large amount being liquidated, and ultimately new buyers fresh into the space, or fresh into Bitcoin at least, have been almost instantly liquidated with everything that's been going on. So but again, looking at the chart behind us, everything looks relatively healthy. We bounced right off of the lowest end, but we always say that we're going to expect to hit either the 618, the 50%, or even the 382, and we've actually kind of ticked them all of them off, right, on our chart, and right down here, and potentially we'll go and mop them up on the way back up again, if that is what's going to happen. I know a lot of people are still expecting Bitcoin to rise in value. I'm not so sure, but I know you are, Chris. You still think there's still room to grow with the Bitcoin price. So yeah, I think that whole liquidation event is definitely been something to to really consider. And obviously, as you say, Chris, the altcoins follow Bitcoin. So in this particular example, when you had all of those futures being liquidated, Bitcoin's price was falling, crashing down, or correcting, if you will, and then the alts were following suit. But of course, you can jokingly, we've been joking about it, haven't we, Chris? Even
We
about the
have.
tether side of things.
Yeah.
So obviously tether, and I'll bring this up for the screen for you guys. So tether, basically, basically you have to pay an $18.5 million fine after a settlement. Okay, and basically this comes down to them printing more tether or minting more tether than they actually have the reserves to meet, and therefore not actually fulfilling their duties. They have 90 days to provide that data, I believe, and ultimately what we've been joking about on the channel, not on air, but off air, is are they liquidating their Bitcoin positions to pay for that 18.5 million? Fine, because what could cause, ultimately there's lots of speculation in this space, right? Were they printing, or minting new tether to prop up a Bitcoin, in which case they had a lot of Bitcoin they could then liquidate to pay their fine. And obviously 18.5 million is absolute chump change, isn't it, Chris? It's a bit
It
of a
is.
slap in the
Yeah.
face of the investors.
We joke because there's, like Nick said, lots of I don't know, we kind of find it quite comical, this stuff that's bandied around on social media. But no, I think being really honest, and one of the reasons why we wanted to make this video was to sort of put people's minds at ease a little bit. Like, there's no big news that's caused this massive retracement within the market for not only Bitcoin but alts as well. It's a case of those blooming traders and people using leverage. God damn it! But no, all jokes aside, this, like, today, in my opinion, and obviously this was yesterday now. Obviously, when you're watching this video, but so not financial advice, but it's been a real opportunity to buy the fear, right? The dip. If there is ever an example of a dip to buy, it would be a dip where it's not based on some devastating news event that caused the market to drop. It's just purely something like what we've seen. So yeah, there was lots of fear today, lots of Telegram groups with people selling their positions. Nick and myself, we've lost an awful lot of money today from our portfolio, but with that said, it's only profit. We're still in profit. Our portfolio is still in profit with this drop today. So I think people forget that we've seen some tremendous gains. VeChain, for example, 3,000% in the last 6 months, for example. It depends on when you got into the market, obviously. But if you're a long-term investor, things like these sorts of events, they don't really make too much difference. It'll be back up in a few days and it'll be green, and everybody will be, remember when that liquidation event caused the market to drop? Remember how scared we were? You know what I mean? That's kind of where people will be in a few weeks' time, I would imagine.
Yeah, absolutely massive shakeout. But
Exactly.
fantastic, purchasing opportunities, I guess. Not financial advice, but if you're into your January sales, they've been extended into late February. So fantastic stuff.
Yeah, and
So yeah,
I,
go for it.
I was going to say, obviously this is a general, which is really a general sort of crypto video, which is unusual for us. So I'm going to take the opportunity now to mention, obviously, we've got a Cardano pool running. For those of you that aren't aware, you can delegate your ADA to our Cheek pool, ticker Cheek, obviously, and you can do this through the normal routes, so the Yori wallet, ADA Lite, Atomic wallet, and the Deadliest wallet. Maybe I'm saying that right. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. I'm
I
sure
do
you're going to
prefer
tell me.
Deadliest. It just sounds better.
Deadliest.
I know
Yeah.
Daedalus, yeah, but anyway, but yeah, and nonetheless, fantastic. So
I'm
yeah,
going
we'd
to
love to
say it
have
how I
you.
say it.
We'd love to have you over there, minting blocks for sure.
And new edition, Nick. One Harmony, or Harmony One, however you meant to say it. Again, another fantastic project. We've also got a pool that Nick has kindly set up recently. Viewers' request. I think we've got just over 500,000 One Harmony delegated to the pool now. We need to get that to about 5 million before we we're likely to get elected to start minting. So fill your boots, guys. Join us, earn some juicy rewards, and make a passive income. It's great because it helps us, and it also helps both those projects become more decentralized. You don't get much better than that. You won't find us selling you tat you don't need. We want to benefit you guys, but we also want to benefit the projects we're invested in. So there we have it.
Fantastic. So guys, if you enjoyed today's video, and definitely go ahead and smash that like button. Chris really appreciates it, I really appreciate it, and I like to think that you'll appreciate it too. And of course, if you're new to the channel and you're not yet subscribed, do go ahead and subscribe. By subscribing, you'll be kept up to date with all the videos and live streams that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And with all that said and done, we hope everyone has a fantastic day, and we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yeah, take care.